Hi. Whoa, how are you today? How's doing the conference? How's it going? So far, I believe it's just been amazing. I've been tracking, from session to session, and it's just been very whole and impactful. I'm grateful for the privilege to be able to have stewarded this conference, the Joyed Up conference, in the year 2024. So I want to say again, welcome to the rest of your life. Welcome to a life filled with joy. Joy. From the stories you've heard, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has participated in making this a success, from the panelists and the supporters. And yes, we're going to do the proper thanks giving very shortly. But I'm here to speak on something I believe is very important in the scheme of things about you. I remember it was the 9th of June when it came to my heart that we should organize the Joy Up conference in London. And I at first thought, this is weird. Why? And I must say, apologize that I'm not able to be with you physically. I tried everything I could to be here, and but I'm here on this other side, and I believe that it's still going to be as impactful as it is going to be, whether or not I'm physically or virtually present here at the Joy Up Conference Detox in London. So please indulge me as I connect with you virtually, but also I want you to put your heart to what I'm about to say to you, because when I got that instruction to come do Joyed Up here in London, I had a very, very heavy burden in my heart that I believe that has been placed there strategically for you to be able to break free of every limiting tendencies. And I say that because I understand how much you work right there in the United Kingdom. You exert so much in making things happen. A number of people reached out to me to say that they'd love to be here, but are unable to because of work. They have a commitment at work. And why do we work? We work oftentimes for economic gain, to be able to have value, to exchange with other people economically, most importantly. And I understand it, why we've got to work. I realized that many of us started out life with a dream, with a vision, perhaps, understanding very well what we want to do with our lives, or maybe not even understanding, but having an idea of the things we want to do with our lives, and we're doing everything we can to achieve our dreams. But then it comes to a point where adulting starts to adult. That's a joke when you said adulting, but yeah, the Gen Zs will get it, right? But adulting starts to show up in your life, and then you then start to excuse your vision and your dream for something more physical, more tangible, like a paycheck or like survival. And I could say that human experience is two-layered. The first layer is a layer of survival, where you're doing everything you can just to be able to survive, just to wake up the next day. And there's a layer you get to, which is a higher layer, where you're thriving. You're not seeking to survive, you're surviving without effortlessly surviving, and now you're seeking to thrive. You're seeking to have influence and affluence. You're seeking to be able to control things, to have power, and to have affluence, money. All right. So whatever layer you're in, whether you're seeking to survive or thrive, I recognize that you work hard. You work so hard. And there's nothing wrong about work, but it gets to a point where you let go of your dreams in order to work, because you realize that whatever you're dreaming or whatever you had dreamed up until now had not been able to fund your survival. And so you must find the thing that will fund your survival so that you're in a better position to then seek to thrive. I recognize that. I think God recognizes it. I think He sees you while you're working, doing all that you can to make ends meet. I see. And I think He sees as well. But there's a point that we get to where we are fully immersed in our work and the things that we must do that we oftentimes then forget ourselves, forget our dreams, our vision, and we just try to make ends meet. And then we, in the face of the society, try as much as possible to appear like we are performing human beings. But because I believe that life is driven by performance, those who are not performing are excused from life. In whatever way that you can perceive that, those who are not performing are excused from life. So what you must do, you must then perform to be able to be valuable in life. All right? So in your bid to perform, and you must understand that performance is not just about work. I will tell you 5 performance areas that you must consider in your bid to become a valuable person in society. First of all is the activities of daily living, the things you do every day. Whether you're cooking or you're eating, you're brushing, you're dressing up, you're driving, whatever you're doing every day, many of those things you do without even thinking or engaging your logic to do it. Those things you did this morning, you did yesterday morning, and the day before yesterday, and you did these things, and you continue to do these things every day. And so your performance is judged not just by how much work or how much money you can turn in, but by the things that you do every day. So number 2, of course, you would guess, is work and productivity. That's another performance area. So your performance is judged by how much work you're doing and how productive is your work. And many times the productivity that you're looking for is the economic return for all the work that you do. That I give it to you, I think you work so hard. So you're scoring so high in your work and productivity. Another performance area that you must consider is leisure. And although you might say that you don't have enough time to hang around and play and meet with friends, in fact, if more people had considered leisure as a performance area, we would have more people in the building today. But I understand that because of the work, the pressure of work and survival and ensuring that you have bills to pay, ensuring that you pay your bills and all of that, you then forget or downplay how much you need to connect with other people or how much you need to play and have a good time. And so what I must consider is your leisure. Another performance area is rest. How well do you rest? How well do you rest? Sleep as a part of rest. But rest is a mental thing, is a mindset, is a space where you are in, where you're not perturbed by the many things that you must do, that you're just in a state mentally of rest. So whether you're asleep or not, it's important that you rest. Another one, or the final one that I will give it today, is your spirituality. Because whether or not you believe, we are all spiritual beings. And one of the reasons why we have a Joined Up conference and would speak about spirituality is because we understand that the spiritual controls the things that you see. Whether or not you believe it, whether or not you agree with it, The spiritual would always control the physical, and the spiritual just has to do with a higher dimension. It's not part of what I'm here to talk about, and I wouldn't indulge. But I had the privilege to write a book titled Light Be, where I had shared scientific proof of the different dimensions that we have, or capture a little bit of that, and how that, how that concerns you and I, basically. So you must understand that you are driven by performance. Naturally, instinctively, you are seeking to perform. And because your performance is easily recognized when you are highly productive in your work, your focus is often on work and productivity, 1 out of the 5 that I've listed here today. And it's very possible that you are working so hard and making so much, but performing so little. And remember, I said the life is driven by performance, and the ones who are underperforming are excused from life. And one of the ways to excuse a person who's underperforming is to start to delegate to them smaller and smaller tasks. I beg your pardon. Smaller and smaller tasks, because they're not able to fulfill or accomplish or execute bigger tasks. And gradually that person is excused from playing actively in life. Yes, so a person who is depressed, a person who is dealing with anxiety, is not able to do so much. And even though you know that you have the capacity to do so much, you're not doing that much because your mental faculty is in a state where you're not able to take on the heavy or the bigger tasks. And so you settle with the smaller ones. And because you must do it for survival, you make do with whatever you can, whenever you can. But I want you to know that the desire of God, who made you, I didn't make you, is for you to be highly performing. And you must have heard the stories of our panelists today and the things that they've gone through and have they been able to navigate the different challenges they've had in life. When I first heard Cora's story, I was so intrigued by it, how she was able to take a life that didn't mean so much in society based on her background and this instability of that background, and she was able to own her life, take it in her own hands, and make something tremendously tangible out of it. Oh, how inspiring her story was the first time I heard it, and I believe that you must have heard how inspiring it is. And one of the things that I see is that you as well have a story. And although your story is already inspiring, you sitting in the building here today is an inspiration, because you understand where you're coming from and where you are vis-a-vis where you're going to. But I dare challenge you that your future holds much more than you have mentally captured. And so you work so hard to survive or perhaps to thrive. And because you work perhaps 2 jobs while you're a student, or 2 jobs while you're just catering for a child, or whatever you're doing, you're exerting yourself. And you're doing so much because there is a conspiracy. And please indulge me to be able to confidently say to you that there is a conspiracy by a minority to keep you working for the gains of the minority. That even though when God made man, He said to man, and if He said to man, He said to you to have dominion, to be fruitful, to multiply, and to have dominion, to subdue the earth. It seems as though there's a minority who have conspired to, notwithstanding whatever you have dreamed in your life, to hold you and work you like a dog for their own profiting, that you help them to amass power and wealth to be able to fulfill their personal or corporate agenda. I must say, and I dare say to you, and this is not hearsay, I have found out that you've been conditioned in your environment, whether the external or internal environment. I will tell you what those environments are. You're so much being conditioned to continue to survive and not even considering to thrive. So your external environment, your physical environment, your network, your age, your socio-economic status, those are your environments, the environments with which you with which you function as a human being. The job, everything designed for you to run a rat race. And the made promises to you, that when you do so much, you will earn so much, and you got into the system, you worked so hard, but you're not getting as much as has been promised you. You're not fulfilled. I remember somebody in the UK, in London, who worked so hard and earned so much, told me that she's considering quitting her job so that she can pursue something more fulfilling for her. A job is something you would envy. You would love to have it, but she would rather quit what you're looking for so that she can thrive and not just survive. So I would say that up to the things that you eat, up to the food that you eat, that there are people who have conspired to say that if you feel so good, you can dream so big. Excuse me. That if you feel so good, you'll be able to dream so big. So they give you food, processed, having less and less nutrients for you to be able to even have the necessary ingredients to formulate the hormones that will make you feel good. That your happiness and your feeling of goodness and satisfaction cannot even be generated naturally as designed, because the foods that you eat, howbeit unnatural, are designed to keep you in a particular low. It's a conspiracy so that you continue to work, forgetting your dreams and your ambitions and your prospects, and you're just working. And for as much work as you do, a little reward is given to you as a proof of performance. However, you may not be a performing human being as you've been designed to perform, but you're okay because you have some fantastic, comforting proof of performance. And the reason why we are saying detox today is because you must detoxify from these things that give you limiting tendencies. And you must, interestingly, work so hard that you're stressed. You're so stressed, and stress has become a toxin, making you less performing, even though you work harder and harder. And in the midst of your performance and your strive to be better in your work, people have disappointed you. And even in the midst of that, your family, not understanding what you're going through, are demanding of you. Your children want more. Your parents want more. Your siblings, if you do have any, they want more. And so the pressure is on you to outperform yourself in work and productivity so that you can have something not just to keep, but also to give. And the pressure is so much that is stifling you. You're not able to keep up. You cry through the night. You come out in the day smiling, beaming with smile, enviable smile. But the things that you're dealing with in yourself, in your mind, you go to sleep with tears on your face and hoping and wondering when this will end. And human beings are designed to respond to stress. And you're either fighting the stress or running away from the stress. Or you're completely frozen, doing nothing about it because you do not know what to do. You are overwhelmed by the stress that you just leave it be. Or you're here trying to negotiate. You're not fighting, you're negotiating with the stress. It's called fawn in psychology, F-A-W-N, where you're massaging the people that are hurting you because you're going through stress, and that's the only way you can see or consider to be able to escape it. But however, whatever your story is, whatever state you're in managing stress, I believe that you're designed for more, notwithstanding what your background is. And so you're here with toxins, I call them, in your mind, limiting your performance. The people that you're finding difficult to forgive because you knew they could help you, but they weren't there when you asked for it. Some people just went quiet on you in your most difficult state. Even though you say that you were not hurt, you have not forgotten their quietness. And so you have all that toxin to deal with. Perhaps you have a background of sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, dealing with so much, trying to believe in yourself because you've always heard that you're not enough. You've always heard through your background that perhaps you cannot be better. You cannot be what you dream. And so you've had to prove a point to many who somehow are not even paying attention that your life has a meaning and there is something about you. And so life has been a roller coaster of hurt and pain. And if you're one who's been in it for so long, you start to get numb to the pain. You start to see the pain as the pathway. So you embrace the pain. You expect to be hurt. And so your performance is dropped because of your expectations. You expect people to disappoint you. You don't expect people to be there for you when you need them. And you're not performing. You might work and earn some money and pounds in your account, but be less productive than you can be because of the hurt and the pain that you're holding on to. And you see, like I said, there is a conspiracy against you and your performance, that there is a limit that you can get to. And only a few, very, very few, have been able to surpass that limit, and they're the ones, the minority, who will conspire to keep the majority in a state of survival while they thrive. What is important for you, and perhaps this is why you're here, to know that no matter what your background has been, you are made for dominion. No matter what you've been through, how hurt you've been, no matter how you're masking and you're thickening your skin against the hurt and the pain, you are actually made for dominion. And you see, one of the things that I learned that changed my life is how emotions are formed. And I must say that you must not live your life based on how you feel, because emotions are fickle. They're not the best. They're like money. They're the best servants, terrible masters. How you feel is the best servant or a terrible master. If you base your life based on how you feel, very soon you will run your life to your ruin. And how emotions are formed, and emotions are very strong and overwhelming sometimes. If they determine the course of your life, they will run you downhill. If you go to a gym and you're working out, you'll feel very, very scared of continuing because you will feel like you are about to die. But it's when you walk through the pain that the muscles start to come out. So importantly, you must note that emotions are the best enhancers of life, regulators of life, but they're not the best directors of life. But the way emotions are formed is that there is an activating event. It's called the ABCs of emotion. Excuse me. Emotions are formed by an activating event. Something happens. Whether you were offended, you went through a somewhat racist experience, it's a reality. Somebody hurt you, a friend betrays you, an uncle raped you. Something happens randomly, a stranger compliments you, whatever, anything. Activating event. B, belief. It's what you believe. And C is the consequent emotion. That means the things that you feel are a consequence of what, not what happened, not A, but B, the things that you believe. Every emotion that you feel today is a consequence of your belief. If you believe you're not good enough, when I make a comment, or when anybody makes a comment about how good you are, you would feel like you're being teased because of what you believe, not because of what is being said. So whether you are happy or sad, angry or surprised, scared, whatever you feel, it's a consequence of what you're chosen to believe. But I want you to believe something here today, that you were made for dominion. You were made to thrive. The notwithstanding what the conspiracy is against you, you can thrive. Your dreams can come through. When I first got the instruction to host a Joined Up meet, if you asked me on the first day of June, is it possible for Joined Up conference to hold at all in this year, I would have said no. Whether anywhere. We had one in March, and this is the second in the year. We had one in Lagos, Nigeria, and this is the second here in London, United Kingdom. And if you ask me, do you think it's possible for you to host the Joined Up conference in London? If it asked me in June, I would have said, man, that's a tall order. But look at you here right in the building at Joined Up Conference, because no matter what the conspiracy is, one of it being me not even present physically there, no matter what event life has orchestrated to frustrate whatever your dreams are, I still dare to say to you that your dreams are valid, your dreams can come true. But your belief will give you a consequent emotion and oftentimes a consequent experience. But there's something I know that is the propellant of the life that you really do desire. That even though you're surviving, things are put together, you're making ends meet, but your dreams are suffering for it. Your dreams can come true. You can be everything that you were designed to be. And you know it is stirred up in you. You know it as I speak to you. It's resonating with you that there is more to your life. And I dare say that even though there is a ceiling over you, even though there is a limit placed in your possibilities by whomever or whatever, it is possible to run through it, to scale the walls, scale the limit, and be everything that you were designed to be. And the one way to detox, to let away the weights, I remember it's Hebrews 12, I believe. I hope I'm right. It says to let go of every weight that easily beset. I say this scripture to you because many times there are weights are holding you back from being everything you were designed to be. It may not be obvious. You may think that forgiving somebody has nothing to do with you performing in your job and getting a raise. But everything is linked. And so I dare say to you that your possibilities can surpass the limit that has been set over you. And the only thing I know that propels people beyond limits is joy. I believe joy is energy required for transcendental performance. I remember the context in which I spoke about performance, not just work, but activities of daily living, your spirituality, your leisure, your rest. What makes you have dominion? I believe joy is the energy you require to step out of the hurt, the disappointment, the loss, and step into the life that you were designed to live. I believe so because Nehemiah 8 verse 10, another scripture that I love so much, says that the joy of the Lord is our strength. And so when I'm low and I'm tired and I've worked so hard and I'm earning so little, or even if I'm earning decently but I think that there is more and I'm trying to make things work and it's not working and I'm tired, there is something that can strengthen me. It's called the joy of the Lord. And in the confusion, I believe David got into that confusion as well. King David, the famous King David, and he says, show me in Psalm 16 verse 10 or 11 the pathway of life. Show me the pathway of life. It says, in your presence is fullness of joy. There is something David got to know, is that I need energy to be able to transcend life's the limits that they've set in life, to be able to break through and really thrive. break through the environment. See, I must say this, that the phenotype of a person is this observable traits. The things that we see about you is your phenotype. Now that's a combination of your genotype, what you're wired to be, what your wiring is, your genes, and your environment. And I dare say to you that genes are turned off because the environment is not suitable for those genes to thrive. So there are things about you that are not yet finding expression because the environment is turning it off. And it's frustrating to know that you're wired for greatness, wired for dominion, wired for much more, and your possibilities are frustrated by your environment. Whether your mental environment, your physical environment, your work, the people you find around, the things you say to yourself in your mind in the corner of your room. Your past experiences can be your environment, placing a limit on your possibilities. But I dare say to you that joy can shoot you beyond the limits that the environment sets. How do I know this? Because I believe that joy is strength. Joy is the energy required for transcendental performance. I say it again, joy is the energy required for transcendental performance. What is transcendental? Meaning it's beyond human expectation. That the limit has been set to you. This is all that we expect from you. You're able to transcend that transcendental performance. And joy is the energy required for transcendental performance. And how do you get joy? David said it already. In your presence is fullness of joy. That when you hold in your spirituality and you say, you know what, I want to spend time with light. I want to spend time with joy. Because everywhere you see light, there is an accompanying joy. I say that again. Everywhere you see light. Archimedes, when they found out the principle of displacement, it got the light of it. It went to the streets screaming, Eureka, Eureka, expressing joy and excitement. Why? Every time you find light, there is joy. If you're in a dark room, you're on an expressway, or you're on an expressway, and you got stuck. Your car is stuck. There is no light everywhere. Everywhere is dark, completely dark, and you see a glimmer of light, maybe police light, coming from far. There's something that wells up within you, an excitement. If you've been there for 3 hours, no light, nothing, and you see light, there is something that wells up within you. Every time you see light, there is an accompanying joy. Why? Because God is light. In Him there's no darkness at all. And in His presence is fullness of joy. They that wait upon Him, in His presence, Isaiah 40 verse 31, says, they that wait upon the Lord, He renews their strength. Remember, strength is joy. So He renews their strength, then they step into transcendental performance. What does it say? It says, they that wait upon the Lord, He renews their strength, then they mount up with wings as eagles. They run, they are not weary, they walk and they do not faint. That is transcendental performance. Where others are giving up and saying, you know what, I will just concede and just try to survive for the rest of my life. You say no, because you have energy propelling you. Isaiah 18 verse 29, it says that by Him I run through the troop. By Him, by God, I leap over walls. I experience transcendental performance because I believe in God. And so I believe one of the characteristics of light, and I believe God is light, apart from the fact that light operates in a speed that's incomparable anywhere on earth. The speed of light is the fastest thing on earth that we know. It's so fast that it can move in 1 second around the earth 7 times. Nothing exceeds the speed of light. Operates in a realm of its own. Interestingly, light is not affected by time. meaning that time slows down to a halt at the speed of light. Why am I saying this to you? I'm saying light is so powerful, and it describes, I studied light and all of the characteristics of light, being a particle, being a wave, speaks about the person of God, the influence of God. It's particulate, it's a matter. At the same time, it's wave-like, like energy. It can be everywhere at the same time, because time is frozen, so it's not influenced by time. Do you see it? So it can be everywhere. There is no today, there is no tomorrow. He is the same, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Light. But in light, and there is a spectrum of light. What we see is visible light. There's a spectrum of light. One of the parts of the spectrum, you have infrared, you have X-ray, you have radio waves. There is communication in light. Without light, we're unable to communicate as humans. All our digital communication, your phones, you're unable to do any of that without the sunlight, because of radio waves emitted by the sun. And so if there's communication and light, there's communication in God. I'm saying this because you need light for life. You need light to detoxify. Well, when you want to detoxify, they introduce you to some light. When you want to find healing, when some cancer cells want to be taken care of, they introduce you to light. There's so much that light does. Light can heal you. Light can conceal. The more lights you see, the more light you have, the more that you can see. You have direction, you have vision. Even though life has tried to frustrate you, keep you in the dark, when you have light, you have vision. Light has so much capacity for you. And wherever you have light, you have joy. And so I'm making a call today for you to step into joy by stepping into His light. For in His presence is fullness of joy. And how do you access His presence? It says, come in thanksgiving, come with praise. Enter His gates with thanksgiving, enter His courts with praise. Gratitude is an acknowledgement of God. And every time He is acknowledged, it dispenses His presence. When His presence comes, light comes. When light comes, joy comes. And joy is the energy you need to be able to transcend the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, the setbacks, the bills that you need to pay, the money you're owing. You need transcendental performance to be able to outmaneuver the conspiracies that have been set to keep you down. And joy will deliver that to you. And so I'm making a call to you today to embrace joy, because the joy of the Lord is your strength. You may think you don't need faith. You've been around faith people for so long and you've been hurt. I acknowledge that. But you need light, you need joy for your journey. No matter how hurt you've been, no matter how pained you've been, I want to challenge you to take your life in your own hands by embracing the light. Not the people who reflect the light, but the light Himself. Have a real relationship. And in that relationship with God, who is light, you will be able to draw in on the joy that He has. And you step into a life of transcendental performance. I want to make a call to everybody here. This is a session we call Hug Session. It's going to be facilitated by somebody, but I want you to do it. I want you to step into this. You're going to find a neighbor. You're going to give them a hug, knowing that that neighbor has been through so much. At times they've had to cry on their pillows, seeking to be heard, but no one to talk to. The loneliness, the hurt, the pain, it's unimaginable. But they've been through and they've survived. They survived, and that's why they're here. But please be a shoulder to your neighbor today, because your shoulder becomes light to them. God told me He wants to hug everybody. He wants to heal those who are broken. No matter what it's been, no matter what they did to you or said about you, that hurt. Many you may have just zeroed your mind and accepted it. This is a vulnerable time. This is a time to say, you know what? It really does hurt. It really isn't convenient to stay with knowing this, that they said this or they did this to me. I want you to hold the next person and give them a hug. Help them to realize that they are not alone. And I believe healing will happen in this place because of it. God bless you.